I'm a proven fact. I'm the poster boy for it doesn't make any difference what cards you're dealt and what side of the track you come from or how far from the track you come from. Instructors and people that helped them financially, I didn't have that. I did this all on my own. If you pursue something hard enough and work at it hard enough, you'll succeed.
What up, world? Live on there with Mr. Be Great today, Lamar King Sr. Glad y'all tapped in with me. It's another all positive podcast. And Mr. Be Great today has some words of encouragement. And y'all already know I'm just going to jump right on in. And the topic of discussion today is, it's not the hand you're dealt, it's how you play that motherfucker. Yep. So I got a question for my listeners. If you could change one thing in your life, what would it be? Would you wish to be better looking? Would you change the fact that you could be taller? Maybe born in a different situation, right? We always yearn, and even the narrative here on the show is we want to be better than what we were. We want to put our best foot forward. But what I'm trying to make my listeners understand is the hand that you're dealt, you got to learn how to play that motherfucker. You got to play it to your strengths and your advantages. You can't wish for no. There's no do-overs in life. This is not poker. You can't, put in two and get two back. You got to play the cards you're dealt. It's kind of like you can't predict the weather. Like if it's gonna rain today, and some people get depressed when it's raining, why are you letting the weather, which you have no control over, dictate how you feel? Right? I can't predict the weather, so guess what I do each and every day? I get up, I step outside the door. If it's a little cold, I'm gonna put on a coat. If it's a little warm, I'm probably gonna put on shorts, right? I'm gonna check my phone, check the weather out. I'm gonna see what's going on. I don't have to watch the news. Y'all already know I don't watch no news. People say, I gotta check the weather. You got a phone. You got the internet. You can find out what the weather's gonna be, right? So I'm just gonna prepare for my day, right? And I'm not gonna wish it didn't happen. I'm not gonna wish it didn't rain. I'm not gonna wish it wasn't so hot. I spent my first summer in Texas last summer. And man, when I tell you hot, right? But I couldn't change it. I just turned my AC on and left it running all summer. So so when you get your hand and you get the things you've been given in life and the situations you've been born in, you gotta observe and you gotta analyze what you got in your hand, and you gotta play it accordingly. It's kind of like spades. I don't know if I'm pretty sure most of my listeners probably know how to play spades. Spades is where you get two-man teams, four players total. They get 13 cards each, and they try to get the most books. For instance, ace of spades with ace high. The spades are the trump cards. They are the cards that can beat any suit, no matter the denomination, based on if it's cut books. Y'all get it. So y'all understand spades, right? So when you get your spades hand, you look at it and you're like, okay, I got this, I got three in a possible, I got two in a possible, whatever. But see, what people don't understand in spades, oftentimes you can change the trump card. The spades are the trumps. They're the one that can cut and beat any other suit. But if you get in the game, if you got 4 spades and 9 hearts, if you hit spades 4 times, right, that's going to get all the trumps out of the game, especially if you got some bosses. And now your trump card is whoever gets the lead, because now no more spades are in the game, so now you can't cut. Now my hearts I'm running them down your throat. So in life, you got to learn how, if you don't have enough spades, or you're not born with adequate financial stability, you're not born with the best environment, you're not born in the best health, and you don't, a lot of times in the black community, in our family, we don't eat as healthy. You got to change that trump card. You got to change the situation. You are in control of what you put on that table. And if you're just following suit, and that's what most of us do, we just follow suit. We do the same thing, regardless of what's going on. We don't try to change the narrative. We don't try to change the trump. And that's what we fall in line of just doing this cookie cutter life and just doing the same thing, playing the same cards, following suit, raking it up, and doing it all over again. There's 3 essential elements to when you're talking about playing the cards you're dealt, right? And the three essential elements is gambling, strategy, and skill, right? So even in the card game, you're gambling. You're taking a chance on whether my heart is going to beat your heart. You're taking a chance on whether you're cutting my spades, you're cutting my diamonds, or I'm cutting your clubs. It's a gamble. You're taking a chance. You're looking at your other person. You're taking the fact that, I got 3 in the possible. I got 3 in the possible. Let's go 7. But not knowing what your other 2 players are having. That's how life is. Life is a gamble. It's all about chance. It can be dangerous. It can be detrimental. You got to take risk. The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward, right? Then you have strategy. Strategy, you must have a strategy. We talk about it so often here on there with Mr. Be Great today. You got to have goals. You got to have a plan, right? You got to have a know-how of how you're going to move in life. If you're just following suit, okay, I'm just going to follow suit. And that's what most people do. They don't play the hand they just follow suit. I'm just going to follow suit. Whatever they play, I'm playing right behind them. They're not trying to figure out a way to change the trump. They're not trying to figure out a way to get the spades out their opponent's hands, right? So that's when you have to look at your hand and decide, how am I going to go about this? How am I going to move? How am I going to play this hand, right? Because you got to figure out exactly what your opponents have and what your partner has. It's 13 cards to each suit. And based on what you have and what your partner has, you can kind of get an idea of what you're up against. And that's the same way in life, right? And the third characteristic of it is skill. You got to develop some type of skill set. And the number one skill set is confidence. You ever been playing spades and somebody just talking trash and they didn't talk you out of the win? You had a better hand, but they didn't beat you. I got an uncle who is a spade connoisseur. And this man will have 1 spade and 12 clubs and still make board because he has confidence. He will talk you out of your game, and that's how life does you as well. Sometimes you'll be playing, you know what you know, and you're second guessing yourself, and you gotten beat by the confidence of life. Life have a confidence that'll break you down to where you'll be second guessing yourself, right? So you got to understand, when you have a skill set, you got to know when to cut the card. You got to know when to lay off, because you know your partner might got the queen. You got to follow the skill set of the game. You got to know the rules of the game in order to play your hand effectively. Because if not, you're just going to follow suit. You're going to get sat. You're trying to play catch up because you haven't used your skill set. You haven't been strategic. You don't understand that you're gambling in life, right? And so have you ever looked at your life like a deck of cards? Right? The hand that you're dealt. Some would say, I'll keep the hand that I got. I keep it. I wouldn't change a thing. I like the adversity. It's made me a better person. I've learned a lot. And I'm just going to deal with what I have. Some people will say, I'll trade in mine. I'll trade in 3 cards. Give me 2. But this is not poker. Life is like spades. You play the hand you dealt. You can't switch out any cards. But what if we stop and looked at our hands that we're dealt? And is it a coincidence? Is it life? Is it God? Why do we have the cards that we have? Why do we have the cards of pain? Why do we have the cards of chaos? If we have this all-seeing God that knows everything, we have the universe or the ancestors or whatever you want to call it, why do we deal with pain? Why do we deal with chaos? Why do we deal with habits, right? And when you look at your hands, some people's hands have more hurtful things in it than others. Like rejection, addiction, abuse. But we also have some great cards, right? We have graduations, we have birth. We seeing our parents retire. We're getting married, we're starting a family. We might start a new career, right? And people oftentimes say, play the cards you're dealt. And it's become a cliche. It sounds good, become a sound bite. And the reason because it's based in truth. You have to play the cards you're dealt, right? And I'm gonna give you 3 things to position yourself with the hand that you're dealt to make life a little easier, make it simpler for you to understand how to play this game, right? The first thing is you gotta leverage your hand. Right? You got to turn a bad hand into a good hand. Just like I said, you can change the trump card. Just because you dealt a bad hand, that doesn't mean you have to lay down and die. Take 50 Cent, for instance. 50 Cent got shot 9 times. Got shot in the face. It changed his whole. I know you guys probably seen Get Rich or Die Trying. And he used that near-death experience to prepare his entertainment career. He talked about his downfall. He talked about almost dying. He talked about all the ups and downs, the loss of his mother, never knowing his father. And he used that to propel his career to a multi-million-dollar producing person. He didn't say, well, oh, my dad ain't around, I'm just gonna go out here and just do my thing. Oh, my mama ain't in my life, so I got an excuse to just fuck off. No, he took the pain that he had endured throughout his life and he changed it into his purpose. And that's what you have to do with your hand. You got to leverage your hand. Oftentimes, a lot of us have overcome so many different things, myself included. And when you put those pain points and you put your laundry out on the forefront so no one can use it against you, you become a pure genius. 50 Cent is one of the most genius minds in the entertainment world today. The guy bought vitamin water. The guy just, he found Eminem. Well, Eminem found him. But the guy he used all the adversity in his life, wrote books, did movies. He's the executive producer of Power, BMF, all these different, things. This man is a multi-million-dollar producing person in this world, and he had a shitty hand when he was born. He leveraged his hand to make his life better, right? So you got to understand that even in a bad situation, people love triumph. People love that people who've come from nothing, who got it out the mud, started from the bottom, now we here. They embrace that. They enjoy that. They get that feel-good feeling that someone can make it despite the circumstances or despite the hand that they were dealt, right? So that's when you have to learn how to leverage your hand, okay? Secondly, what you also can do is you can switch the cards. Cheat, right? And I'm not an avid person of just doing people wrong and just doing the wrong thing. But I've said many times before here, you can't win by playing fair in a crooked system. And a lot of people are probably going to take this the wrong way. But how are you going to win a fair fight when they got some up their sleeve? They got an ace up their sleeve, and here you are trying to play fair. The world is not fair. This is not a fair world. It doesn't care that you were born with less. It doesn't care that you come from a single parent home. It doesn't care that your father wasn't there. Life doesn't care. So you have to learn how to, if you have to, you may have to cheat. And just like they're saying, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Or some people would say it ain't cheating unless you get caught. It's kind of like Lance Armstrong. People will celebrate you when you cheat. But once you get caught, you could lose it all. So no one was saying all these different things about Lance Armstrong when he was winning the Tour de France 7 or 8 years in a row. Then he tried to get greedy. He tried to do a little bit too much. Came out of retirement and boom, everything hit the fan. Lost it all. Stripped him of all his titles. Stripped him of all his endorsements. Put shame on his name because he tried to do too much. But everybody was giving him praise when he was cheating. And there was rumors of him cheating. There was rumor he overcame testicle cancer and all this good stuff. They were praising him. He beat cancer. He's won Tour de France, but not knowing that he was cheating. Now it was fine as long as he didn't get caught. Just like Bernie Madoff. Madoff was one of the highest influential people on Wall Street for many, many years. But when he got caught cheating, he went to prison. He lost everything. His name was blasted throughout the tabloids. But it was fine once he was getting over on everybody. He was fine. It's kind of like the former president Donald Trump. The man cheats. But guess what? He's using the system against himself. The man said, of course I don't pay taxes. And if you do your research, you understand that taxes are unconstitutional. But we ain't gonna get into that rabbit hole. But I'm just saying, sometimes you gotta cheat. Sometimes you gotta go that extra mile. You gotta do something different. Don't be afraid of it, right? It's just like, this country we live in is for profit. It's all about making a profit, about margins. It's about capital gains. And that's the thing that we have to understand, that everything that we purchase or everything that we are involved in, no matter if it's our job, if it's our business, where our kids go to school, where we get our gas at, it's all for profit. Everything that we buy, everything that we consume, it was bought at a lesser price and sold to us for a higher price. And that's how life works. It works just in that facet. And so how are you going to play fair in a system that's not playing fair with you? To the point where they will hide certain situations. They will hide certain things. You don't know how much a steak costs at Outback for that company. They're not going to put that on the menu. You go in there and you pay the price. But then you can go to the grocery store, you can go to Costco's, you can go somewhere. It's always a profit margin somewhere. People do factory direct, where they go straight to the source, and you can get it for cheaper. You buy in bulk, you get it for cheaper, and the natural consumer, who most of us are, who consume most things in this country, who consume most things in this world, consumes most things in this whole capitalistic society that we live in, we're buying things at a premium, and we look at it like, okay, we doing good because we can afford more expensive things. We can take lavish trips where it doesn't cost that much for that actual company to produce that transportation to that destination. It's almost like eggs in the supermarket now. Chickens lay eggs for free. I don't care from anything. The price of a gallon or barrel of oil has been pretty much the same even since the early mid 2000s. The price of oil has not risen as much that we have to pay $3, $4, $5 a gallon at the pump, depending on the time of the year. But we feel like, okay, that's just how things are. It shouldn't be the fact that now that if most of the people on the jobs, you can attest to it, when they passed the Affordable Care Act, the Obamacare, the premiums at the job got higher. It almost tripled. And they provided no more coverage than they already were providing. And guess what? Because now you got another option, now we're going to go up on the price. Now there's a free market in that space. And anytime there's free market and there's competition, guess what? People are going to buy low and sell high. And that's the world we live in. And you're talking about playing fair? You're talking about playing fair in a society that doesn't play fair? You can pay for a house and still pay taxes on it for the rest of your life, and it's supposed to be yours? You're talking about anything in this world that we live in, we're going to pay a premium price for money that is not backed by any natural resource. Understand the logic in that. What if I told you I had monopoly money and I'm going to give it to you as if it has value, and then on turn I'm going to tax you on that money that I give you? It's not a fair game. The deck is already stacked against you. So you got to find different ways to play that hand. You got to find different ways to maneuver in life. It's not cheating until you get caught. So I challenge you all. Hey, I'm not saying go do something that's going to land you in prison, but you got to push the envelope. And if you're scared, stay on the sideline. And that's real talk. And thirdly, you can't replay your hand. I know oftentimes let's take spade game, for instance. Now, when the hand's over with, you and your partner conversing about, well, I had this, and that's why I played this, and that's why I played that. Now, that's okay to talk about something that you've done, and so we can do better, or so we can understand each other's playing style. Because in the game of spade, just like the game of life, you got to have a partner. You got to depend on somebody. All that I don't need nobody stuff, that is a figment of your imagination. We're all codependent on something or someone, some type of system, someone. And if you're out here thinking you can do it on your own, it's going to be an uphill climb. And that's why life is just like playing the cards that you're dealt, because you got to have a partner. You got to have a dealer. You got to have an opponent. And you can act like it's not real, but it is. And you can't replay the hand. And we've seen in spade games, and any of my avid spade players, they know, if anyone starts talking about a hand where someone messed up, and they talk and it goes into an argument, they're talking about a hand that they can't ever replay again. And that's that's the frustration we build up in ourselves by reliving the hands we can no longer play. That was 3-4 hands ago, and you still talking about that? That's over with. Let's move on. Let's play the cards we got in our hand right now. And that's how life does. It gives you a reshuffle. It gives you another stab at it. But if you keep looking back at 3-4 hands ago, you're not going to be able to, look at the cards in front of you. You can't relive. You can't go back in time and change some stuff. Now, I wish we could. I truly wish we had that superpower, but it's not possible. So I challenge you all to understand that you can't replay that. You can't keep reliving hands of the past. And that's the most important part of the whole playing the cards that you're dealt, is that you can't redo. There's no do-overs. Learn from it. It's okay to converse with your partner and say, hey, we should have did this, or we should have did that. Now, okay, the deal is dealing, no talking, let's get back to playing. And that's how life is. We have setbacks. We may lose our partner. You're going to still have to find someone else in life to depend on to fill that void when we lose people. And that's the only guarantee in life, is that we're going to lose people, and people may even lose you. The cards you're dealt are your cards, and you play them how you want. The resources that are out there for you to understand how the game is played is for you. And if you're not applying yourself and learning all the rules and learning all the little cheat codes and learning all the life hacks of how you can succeed in this life, then you're doing yourself a disservice. Because it's not about the hand you dealt, it's how you play that motherfucker. It's how you apply yourself. It's how you apply the rules of life in your own personal life, and so you can come out on top. And we oftentimes want to play fair. We understand that life is not fair. And if you have to cheat. And I'm saying, don't be detrimental. Don't be just, a Debo in life and trying to just get over on people. But this government and this system and this society we live in, they get over on us every day. They tax our wages, right? Then they tax us at the gas pump. They tax us at the register. Then at the end of the year, if we don't file it, they'll penalize us again. So you got to understand that we got taxation without representation. We pay more taxes than any other country in the world, but we still got to pay for health care. We still got to they'll build new roads, and we still got to pay a toll on the road that taxpayers pay for. And we buy into it and we live in it, and we got to understand that it's okay to cheat. Cheating is not cheating until you get caught. And I'm talking about the game of life. I'm not talking about no relationship. I'm not talking about when you're dealing with your family. I'm talking about surviving this world. And you play the hand you dealt, and you do what you got to do. And if you don't get caught, it ain't cheating. And that's real talk. So you got to understand how to play this game and why you play this game, and understand the rules of the game. And until you put your best foot forward and start utilizing all your resources and understanding the game and playing and try to changing the trump card and not just following suit, you'll understand that life will become so much easier. It's a life hack. And it all starts in the mind. Just like I said, the number one skill set is confidence. It takes confidence to walk around this world. It's so many, even as I was a small 5 foot tall boy in middle school and high school. But I had so much confidence. A lot of times I would talk my way out of an ass whooping. Big bullies trying to bully me. I'm bucking up like I speak things with confidence. Same thing when you got your hand. It's kind of like bluffing in poker. You can bluff your way into that's like a cheat code. They don't know unless you tell them. So I challenge my listeners: play that hand you're dealt. Learn the rules of the game. Have the type of borderline arrogant, cocky confidence, and cheat if you got to. And that's all I got for y'all, because I really want my listeners to understand you can't win a fair fight in a crooked system. And until you be honest enough with yourself to say, this ain't fair. This is not fair. It's not the fair that the cops can stand behind a tree and hold out a pole and just pick me out when no injured party is there. I haven't hurt anyone, but you got me a speeding ticket, 5 miles over the speed limit. You got me going 15 miles over in the school zone when the kids are in the school. There's nobody hurt. It's all about money. And I want you guys to understand, you got to learn how to play the games, and you got to learn the rules. And that rule book is very vast. And there's so many hidden clauses and double negatives, and you know how they speak. You know how the Constitution is written, and how the statutes and codes and laws are written. They all like double negatives and, this. And until you learn how, if you can't speak lawyer talk, then guess what? You'll go in there blind and put yourself even under the deeper hole, because you don't know the rules. You don't know how to play that hand. And I challenge y'all, Play the cards you're dealt. It's not about the hand that you've been dealt. It's how you play that motherfucker. And you got to learn how to be strategic. You got to learn how to use your skill set, your number one skill set, confidence. Right? So, y'all make sure y'all go check me out. Mr. Be Great Today on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter. Great Today INC on IG. And On Air with Mr. Be Great Today on Facebook. I love you all. And you already know. Be great today. Peace. Yeah, man. It's me. And I tell you, man, sometimes you can't be too hard on yourself. You feel me? Life is a crap game. You win some, you lose some. But you lick your chops, go back to the drawing board, and try to execute your plan all over again. Because failure, it's a part of the process, man. Falling on your face, you know, you may even somewhat feel embarrassed. But that's a part of the process, dude. You gotta go through that, man. You got to fall flat on your face. Once or twice at least. Or you're gonna be, you're gonna stand cautiously on the sideline. You're gonna be scared to jump out there in traffic. They got an old saying out there, back home, I'm old country Georgia boy. They used to say, don't jump out there in that water, right? Go on and jump out there in that water. But see, me, I can swim. Yeah. So, you know what? I'm gonna jump my ass out there in that water, man. Because I got to survive. I gotta leave a legacy for my children, because as we all know, a real man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Hush your mouth. Go on and marinate on that. I hear you, boy. Can you even put yourself in a situation where your family ain't gotta even worry about nothing if something happened to you? About. Are you planning to fail, or are you failing to plan? Are you in preparation, or are you just, the grasshopper in the summertime? Just jumping around. I'm for real, man, all jokes aside. Until you strategically put a plan in place, map that thing out to a T. Okay, get a pencil. Execute as much as possible. A piece of paper? Okay, I got you. Forget about your losses, lick your wounds, lick your chops, and keep pushing and execute another plan right after that. Okay, because failure is part of the process. Okay, you're gonna fall, you're gonna fail, sharp. Okay, so you know what I mean? I used to be out there in the game. Every time you come up, something happens. Yep. Don't melt. Same thing. It's the same process. It's the same process in life. Yep. But it's all about the preparation. Yeah, I got you. You feel me? It's all about the prep work. Usain Bolt ain't the fastest person in the world for nothing. Why? Right now, guess what? He's training. In the Olympics, what? That was just last year? Yeah, I think it was. This year? Whenever? No, it might be this year. So, he already getting ready for the next. And when the next real deal meet 4 years from now. 4 years? But here it is, we can't even prepare 4 hours from now. Damn it. It's all in the prep work. Yep, preparation. For those who out there cooking, who out there call themselves chefs, you can call yourself a chef, but your prep work better be A1, Benito. It's all in the prep work. Set goals, achieve, execute, and be great today.